We're speaking today with Ray McKinney, who's a candidate in Georgia's 12th Congressional District, running as a Republican in a district currently held by a Democrat. Am I correct?
John Barrow, Blue Dog Democrat.
John Barrow, Blue Dog Democrat. And Ray, got a chance to talk with you a little bit last night, so I got a chance to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're not a politician.
No, actually, I'm a project manager for a company called Ames. They're headquartered in North Carolina. And what my job is to go to nuclear power plants. I go in a couple of months ahead of schedule and plan projects, and then we perform the projects, and I close the project out, and then I go off and do another one. So I travel all around the country, and my specialty is nuclear power plants.
So energy is something that's going to be very near and dear to your heart if you get into Congress.
Energy I have a passion about. I've worked in fossil plants, I've worked in hydro plants, I've worked with wind power, I've worked with nuclear power. I've seen the advantages, plus and minuses of all of them. I've done my research. It's not just I read a paper, I've actually climbed around in them. I've seen the maintenance, the problems, I've seen the production cycles, I've seen the costs. And as far as our country is concerned, I would prefer we were a manufacturing economy, and the key to that is cheap energy. People also are talking about global warming and greenhouse gases. Well, that comes from our production of energy. So there's a lot of problems that we could solve, and what I would like to become, as far as our country, is the world leader in production of cheap, efficient power. Now, currently, my opinion is that would be nuclear power. Now, we have lost the capacity to manufacture the parts necessary to build new power plants. China is currently one of our largest debt holders, is going to build over 100 nuclear power plants, and instead of us being the company selling this technology and getting some of our debt back, they're going to use the interest off our debt and buy this technology from countries like France and Germany. So here's a golden opportunity to bring jobs, lower the deficit, but yet we're going to sit around and putter and maybe play with some solar panels.
Ray, one of the developments over the last couple of weeks was Barack Obama's announcement that he's going to allow offshore drilling in some limited areas. What did you think of that? What did you think of that development? And did it really deliver what people think is when they think of drill, baby, drill? Is that what Barack Obama delivered?
I think this is pure politics. If you wanted to open up oil reserves and you wanted to be able to drill and lower dependency on foreign oil and lower the price of oil, there's a lot of places we could be drilling right now for oil that the government won't allow us to lift limited bans in limited areas that I believe are up to be available anyway. It's politics again. That's the problem. We've got sources of energy that we can be tapping into, and the people that are supposed to be representing this are using it as political football, and they're pointing fingers and they're blaming each other. We do this and you don't do that, and that's what's wrong right now in Washington. Is you got people that are playing politics with our lives, with our economy, instead of going up there to solve a problem and do a job. When an issue like this comes up, I don't care if you're Democrat, I don't care if you're Republican. It doesn't matter. You can be a Martian. The point is, figure out what the problem is. Right now, the problem is supply and demand. Figure out how are you going to increase the supply, or how are you going to reduce the demand, and then by God, you just do it. Politics should have nothing to do with these decisions.
Well, getting back to the politics, again, your district is represented by a Blue Dog Democrat. These are Democrats that are considered to be more moderate.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. A bit of a humorous thing there, but even if John Barrow was a moderate, why would we need to replace a moderate Democrat who might vote with Republicans and take the edge off of some of the Democratic agenda?
Yeah, that's like taking somebody from the Russian hockey team and putting him on the American Olympic hockey team and saying, now he's a Blue Dog Russian. All right, here's the point. John Barrow, Blue Dog Democrat, votes every year, every cycle for Nancy Pelosi. That's not what a blue dog, a moderate, should be doing. Right? And that's case number one. Case number two, the mere fact that we have blue dog Democrats, let's put it this way, if you took all the blue dogs out, who would be in the majority? The Republicans. So the fact that you have these blue dogs, their sole purpose is to sit in moderate districts, tell people how moderate they are, stay in power so that the liberals can stay in power. Without the blue dogs, the liberals do not have a mandate. So now you got a guy that's keeping the Democrats in power. You got a guy who's voting for people like Nancy Pelosi. And then here's a perfect example. John Barrow voted no on cap and trade. Beautiful. you're conservative. That's great. But what he fails to tell you is in the Energy Committee, which he's a member of, he was the deciding vote to pass cap and trade. He was the guy who was defeating every single proposal every single amendment proposed by conservatives to make cap and trade a little bit better. He was the no vote, the deciding no vote. So here's this blue dog Democrat that tells you he's moderate, he's here to help you, but he's the guy who facilitates Nancy Pelosi, he facilitates the Democratic Party, he passes whatever he can in committee for Nancy Pelosi, and then once the bill passes on the floor, like health care, you'll watch John Barrow vote no. And every time he votes no, the bill somehow passes. So if Americans can't figure out that this is just a shell game, then I don't know what else we can do.
It's a good point. I think it's something that doesn't come up an awful lot, but of course, the upcoming midterms are going to be more or less a referendum on the Democratic agenda, Barack Obama's performance, and Nancy Pelosi's performance. In your district, tell us a little bit about your district, and tell us why you think that a referendum on those topics is likely to turn against John Barrow.
Well, we're kind of an interesting district in that we have a large area of Democrats on one end in Savannah. We have a large area of Democrats on the other end in Richmond County, Augusta, and in the middle we have rural counties. It's 22 counties, one half of Chatham, one half of Richmond, which are fairly urban, or I guess large cities, and the rest of it is rural farmers. The central part of the district is hardcore conservatives. The outer edges of the district are kind of more of your independents, your moderates, your liberals. What we're looking at in this election cycle, our blue dog is being taken on by Regina Thomas, state rep. She's being backed by the Daily Cost. MoveOn.org is rumored to have done a $250,000 media buy. They're really hammering John Barrow because, believe it or not, and this is one thing I admire Regina for, even though she knows that John Barrow supports the Democrat Party, even though she knows that he's necessary for this charade, she's got the guts to stand up and say he's not representing his party, he's not liberal enough, and that she is. So I've got respect for her. I mean, I do have respect. She tells you the truth. So this way, when you vote for Regina Thomas, you're voting for the liberal. When you vote for John Barrow, you may think you're voting for the conservative, but you're actually voting for the liberal. With Regina, you know what you get. With John Barrow, it depends. So once that primary is over with, basically John Barrow would be bruised, bloody, and broke. That's our time to take him out.
Ray McKinney running for office in Georgia 12, and raymckinney.org.
RayMcKinney.org.
RayMcKinney.org, and we'll have that link, of course, up at hotair.com. We're going to be hearing more from Ray McKinney in the coming months, and hopefully we're going to be able to get him get a few more interviews with Ray McKinney as time wears on.
Be glad to do it. Can't wait.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.